We're talking to Dr. Paruchuri from Tennessee State University, and the topic is Hinduism and other religious faiths in India. And of course, Dr. Paruchuri, you've given us quite a bit of information about other religious faiths in India, and let's see if we might be able to devote the remaining part of this particular program to Hinduism in India, and have you to talk about some of the things associated with that great religion.
Well, I'm not so sure if I can sum it up in such a brief time. I probably will try to tell you as much as we can, given the time constraint. First of all, most people think that Hinduism is polytheism, and they are icon worshippers. Like I say, that in all religions you have the essence of philosophy, the essence of it has a component of metaphysical component, and the essence of getting in touch with your inner self. And at the same time, most of the religions have a ritualistic practice, and of course in Hinduism there's a lot more rituals, lot of deities, and so people think we have different gods. Essentially, if we really think about the essence of this universe, we recognize in our own selves that there is only single truth. If there is a single truth, there cannot be so many gods. So it's except that the approach to the ideas of divinity differ. India is a subcontinent, as you know, and people probably in the early period, were not so connected. Or a period of time when the religion evolved, perhaps, they thought of gods in different ways. So you have the visualization of divinity in so many ways. So Hinduism, of course, allows you to worship the way you want. It's a very tolerant religion. It does not restrict you from saying that you have to go to the temple every day, or there's not so much of do's and don'ts. It is more of an open thing, but the point is that you need to evolve yourself, your inner self, as a human being. So we realize that there is only one spirit, but that expression of spirit is in different forms. So this is why Hinduism has been always tolerant of other religions, and when other religions have come into India, they have been very accepting of it. There's been a great degree of toleration towards these religions. So you have this very large-hearted sort of universalistic approach in terms of a divine entity. But at the same time, you will see that there are, as I said, appears that Hindus have so many gods.
Different expressions of divinity.
Yeah, but that is different expression of divinity. So, which makes it very convenient when you have so many expressions of divinity for people to feel connected with the way that they would like to worship. The whole idea in Hinduism is self-realization, evolvement of your own self. So it is not so much as we seek out salvation, but you as a human being needs to evolve and recognize the essence of what this universe is, and to be one, in tune with the universe. We are, Hinduism says, we are only an atom of this entire cosmos. So this spark that we have also has its divine essence. Now when Bible says you are made in his image, what do we mean by that? Look at things around it. There are only 5 components to this universe, and we say that is created by God. What are those 5 components? As we know, earth, air, water, heat, and ether. So if God is the one who created this, then you are an image, his image. So Hinduism recognizes that you are that spark. You are, thou art that. That is, you are that spark. And so you need to ignite that spark to recognize, make that spark a millionfold to be enlightened, so that you will recognize ultimately that there is one truth. It cannot be that when so many prophets have come into this universe, they have thought of different truths. So I jokingly tell my students, do you think Allah, Buddha, and all the Hindu gods are fighting with each other? If they have realized the essence of truth, it's not likely that they will fight. But we, with our very limited knowledge, we have a view of divinity, and Hinduism says you need to fight your own ignorance.
And so Hinduism is really is much more spiritual in a real sense. And when we talk about spirit in the Christian tradition, we're talking about something that's unseen of whatever, but we're saying that Hinduism requires us to educate and to evolve that self-realization, I think it's called in some popular terms. So that's would you say that would be the essence of what Hinduism is about?
Yes, yes. So people think that when they are looking at Hinduism, that it is just a religion of rituals. But these rituals have been put for us really to get this gross body to listen and to be attentive through these rituals, to have a connectivity between this gross body self and that essence of that divinity. So if you, because we realize the mind is a monkey, so when you have these rituals, you feel it is much more easier to focus. So that kind of focus, as it intensifies, then you evolve in terms of recognizing that spirit.
And so you become closer and closer to that spirit by that's what meditation and concentration and et cetera is.
It is the same with the prayer rituals. We have variety of rituals. There is a lot of chantings. Our priests at the temple do not preach. They only conduct these rituals. The preaching is more from the people who have really evolved in terms of recognizing the essential truth. So any discourses that you hear from about the essence of divinity is from these people who have self-evolved themselves. And so their interpretation, their explanation will serve people to recognize, help them to evolve as human beings. But these ritual, the component that you have, which is, ritualism, that ritualism is also we see as an essential part to your religious practice, because you steady practice in a defined way.
Discipline.
It gives you discipline, and especially in your childhood, when you go to a temple or a church, you get very distracted. So these rituals, even not just for the children, even adults get distracted. So these rituals help us to focus, and gradually it builds a discipline in terms of tuning our mind towards divinity. It is the God-tuned mind is what one needs, and tuning into God is these kind of rituals, and the variety of deities, and as well as the icon worship is simply a help for individual to move to that direction of self-discipline and evolving into recognition of what the essence of divinity is.
Okay, over the last couple of minutes here, Dr. Paruchuri, let's look at this question. I think it has often been said that the so-called civil rights movement came primarily out of the nonviolent philosophy of an Indian. You see, let's talk about the relationship that you know of in reference to that.
I'm very glad you asked me that question, because nonviolence is, one of the essence of Hinduism. That is why many Hindus are vegetarian. Hindus believe all living beings have their place in this world, regardless of whether it is in human form or it is in any insect form or anything. Non-violence is important for us to practice, because every living being has its own responsibility in this universe to execute its own duty. So if we practice non-violence towards all these living creatures, we hold this universe in greater balance.
This is a sacred universe from that perspective.
Yeah, and so this nonviolence is a major component, as you know, which was preached by Mahatma Gandhi. And for in order to practice nonviolence, you need enormous amount of self-discipline, self-discipline, toleration. And Hinduism, with the constant discipline, it makes your mind recognize the importance of this nonviolence. And people think that also when you are confronted with a violent situation, the tendency is to hit back. There's greater strength in self-restraint than executing without thinking.
Very good. And of course, Dr. Paruchuri, you see that our time is running out, and of course I hate to interrupt at this point, but we do have to end this. And of course, let us encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.